Hello everyone. In case you have already joined, just ping me on the chat window so that I know that you have joined the session. Hi Piyush. Let's just wait for a couple of minutes for everyone else to join. I will also request you to take pen and paper in case you will need to take down certain notes. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes and then we'll start. In meanwhile, can you tell me what's your current accuracy with reading comprehensions in terms of your attempt? Are you attempting 50%, 60%, 80%? What's your accuracy? Is it 80%, 90%, 50%? Hi, Sai. You all can just quickly share your RC's accuracy and attempt percentage. So how are you practicing RC's right now? What source are you using to practice RC's? Sai, Piyush, Lavleesh, what sources are you using to practice reading comprehension right now? Are you using books like Arun Sharma or just past papers or just mock tests or the tests which we are providing in the course? Hi, Khushbu. Okay, Lavlesh. Arun Sharma, CAT last year papers. I'm reading articles at Aeon and giving aim cats. Sai, it's always taking aim cats. You are not giving aim cats. Time gives you aim cats. You take aim cats. Okay, Piyush. Great. Okay, so I guess some of you have joined while the others would join. Let's quickly start off. And let me first of all ask you that anyone here who is having less than say 50% accuracy in RCs, less than 50% accuracy, irrespective of the attempts, is your accuracy less than 50%? Anyone? Okay, Khushbu. Anyone who is having more than 90% accuracy or say more than 80%? Khushbu Sai, don't worry. No, over the next few sessions, you will be able to develop your accuracy more than 80%. So don't worry. We still have a lot of time to prepare well and to ensure that we are taking care of those small little things which help us to improve our accuracy when it comes to RCs. Anyone with more than 80% accuracy over here right now? Okay, Lavleesh. Lavleesh, let's aim to take it no, at least in the range of 85 to 90. That would get you pretty good marks. And for everyone else as well, in case you can do in well in accuracy terms when it comes to RCs, nothing can stop you from scoring high in verbal section. So just before we start off, let's try to understand that why is RC so important. First of all, when it comes to CAT and ZAT, approximately 65 to 70% of your paper is going to be from our reading comprehension. And even from non-CAT exams perspective, around 40 to 50% of your paper is going to be from reading comprehension. So say even if you are weak in other areas, but if you are strong in reading comprehension, then nothing can stop you from scoring high when it comes to verbal ability and RC section of the different MBA exams, especially CAT. So in CAT, if you say just attempt RCs and you attempt RCs with 80, 85, 90% accuracy, nothing can stop you from a 98 plus percentile in the verbal section. So that's the criticality of RCs, because RC is the topic which has the highest weightage across all the MBA entrance exams, and it has the maximum weightage when it comes to CAT. And hence it becomes very important for all of us to ensure that we are able to do well in RCs in terms of accuracy, in terms of attempt percentage. When I say attempt percentage, just to increase attempt percentage, it's not about, say, just attempting every RC, but it's about being wise when it comes to RC selection and ensure that you are able to attempt around 80% RCs in the examination. Now, in this session, I'm going to help you out, or say I'm going to try to help you out in developing a strategy to ensure that you are able to select the right passage to attempt in the examination. Does it happen with you that at times you start the passage, you start attempting it, and after spending 10-15 minutes on it, you realize that this is not the passage you want to attempt? Does this happen to you? Jayant, no, only time material will not be suffice. You will at least have to go for mock test series plus say past year papers. Just time booklets may not be sufficient. Anyone here around the passage selection? Okay, so there are two things which we need to keep in mind when it comes to selection of the right passage in the examination, that which passage to attempt and which not to attempt. There are two things. One, the type of the question of the RCs. Second, type of the RC. What's the difference between type of RC and type of the questions in RCs? So there are basically 5 to 6 types of RCs which you will get in the exam, and there are around 8 types of questions which will be asked in the exam. You need to understand that what kind of RC is that with which you are comfortable, and what kind of questions are there which you can attempt with 80% plus accuracy. Passages which fall under green zone for both are the passages which you are going to attempt first in the exam. Passages which fall in the yellow zone, you will keep them for the end. And passages which fall in the red zone, you are not going to attempt them at all. I will tell you how to arrive at the green zone, how to arrive at the yellow zone, how to arrive at the red zone. I will tell you in this session. So the starting gist is, the starting hypothesis is, we need to analyze our performances so far in RCs. We need to analyze our performance closely over next 2 weeks when it comes to RCs, so that we can arrive at our green zones, yellow zones, and red zones. Okay, are you with me so far? Okay, so first of all, a lot of people say that we can divide RC questions in 2 parts. In case you want to take pen and paper, you can write down few of the things which I'm going to tell you. I'm so sorry, I'm not using any slide presentation in this session. From the next session of RC onwards, I'll be using some of the slides as well. So today, if you want, you can take pen and paper. Now, there are broadly 2 categories in which you can divide questions when it comes to RCs. One is direct questions, one is indirect questions. When it comes to direct questions, there are 3 kinds of questions which fall under this category. In direct questions, one is factual questions. These are the questions where you just need to find the answer in the passage and mark it. These are very direct questions in terms of what they are asking. They are asking something which is already mentioned in the passage. You just need to find the answer from the passage and mark it. Second question type which falls under direct category is tone of the passage. Now, this is the kind of question where you don't need to infer something, you don't need to assume something, you don't need to think beyond the information given in the passage. So when I talk about direct questions, these are the questions which can be solved with the information given in the passage itself. So after factual questions, second category is tone of the passage. Here again, you just need to understand the core of the passage, the way the author is speaking, the way the author has written it, so that you can mark the answer. You don't need to conclude something, you don't need to infer something, you don't need to assume something. And third category of the questions which fall under direct stuff is title of the passage. So these three kind of questions fall under direct questions. Is it clear? Is it clear so far? That why do these three types of questions fall under direct category? Factual, tone, and title. Because again, for title, you don't need to assume something, you don't need to conclude something, you don't need to infer something. It's directly based on the information given in the passage. Does this make sense? Now, the second category of questions is indirect questions. What are the different kinds of questions which fall under indirect questions? So let's talk about questions. The first category is your conclusion and assumption based questions. Yes, Deepjyoti, I will come to that. Conclusion and assumption based questions. Second is inference based questions. Third is what is a summary or say central idea. Then another type of questions which you must have seen is get into the shoes of author. Have you encountered this type of question? And then is source of the passage. And out of these five, which one is the toughest one? Source of the passage is the toughest one. Easiest one I would say is conclusion, assumption, inference. Then comes your summary and central idea. Then is the get into the shoes of the author. And then is the source of the passage. All these five kind of questions, they fall under the category of indirect questions. Remember this. Deepjyoti, I will come to your question in another 5 to 10 minutes. Before I get there, I need all of you to understand the different kinds of questions which are asked to you in the exam. Three kinds of questions for fourth is a kind of question where the question would ask you that if you were wearing the shoes of the author, what will you write next after the last paragraph of the passage? Or if you were the author, what would have you encountered or what you would have read before starting to write this passage? Is it clear, Lavlish? Great. Is it clear, Mukesh, Deepjyoti, Khushbu? Right. Now, this is one thing which you need to remember, the kind of questions. Now I am coming back to what Deepjyoti has asked. But before that, let me quickly tell you what are the different 6 types of passages which you can get in the exam. When it comes to the exam, be it CAT or any other exam, there are 6 kinds of passages which are possible. First is a technical passage. When I say technical passage, this includes a lot of technical terms in it. So just by reading first 2 paragraphs, remember one thing, you never need to read the entire passage to know whether to attempt it or not. Okay, Deepjyoti, this is what I'm discussing now is going to answer your question as well. You never read entire passage to understand whether to attempt it or not. You will only read first paragraph, last paragraph, and half of the second paragraph. That is going to suffice. That is going to suffice for you to decide whether to attempt the passage or not. If you have read first paragraph, half of second paragraph, and the last paragraph, coupled with the quick look at the kind of questions which have been asked, you should be able to decide within 1 to 2 minutes whether to attempt the RC or not. Now, coming to the kind of passages Technical passage is the one where you get a lot of technical terms. Have you encountered such passages? It may be around engineering, it may be around medical, it may be around scientific stuff. Lot of technical terms in the passage, and you are suddenly like, no, I have never read these kind of passages. I have never read these kind of novels. I have never read these kind of articles, and you are suddenly, just zoned out, considering that, is it tough or is it easy? Whether I should attempt or not, right? So first kind of passage is a technical passage. Second kind of passage is natural sciences, where you get questions around questions passage which is based on physics, chemistry, biology, biotechnology, like these kind of subjects. These fall under natural sciences. Third kind of the passage could be social science, where we talk about polity, we talk about sociology, we talk about economy, we talk about any other aspect regarding society, environment. Everything falls under social science. Next type is reviews and editorials. Someone has put up the passage in the exam which is, say, out of a book review, or say it's an editorial of a newspaper. So all these kinds of passages which fall under reviews and editorials. Next set is narrations and poems. This is a type which you will frequently encounter in ZAT. ZAT will give you at least one passage which is based on narration or a poem. In CAT, this type is a slightly rare one. I will come to that, Deep Jyoti. So are you able to understand what do I mean by reviews, editorials? What do I mean by narrations and poems? And then the last kind of passage is the current happenings. So I can broadly divide RCs which are given to you in these 6 categories. You understand all these 6 categories? Anyone who has any question on any broad level category? If you get a passage, can you at least link it to any one of these 6 categories? This is important for you to link. Ability to link is important. That's why I'm asking you. Will you be able to link the given RC to you in any of these 6 categories? Narrations and poems. Poems are poems. So that gives you RCs which are, instead of having a paragraph or a prose, they just have poems. Narration is more like I'm telling you a story. It's just like, say, narration in a movie. Deep Jyoti, will you be able to categorize? Will you be able to categorize the passages? Vignesh, Lavleesh, will you be able to? Khushbu, can you, if say tomorrow or say today, Lavleesh, I will tell you the sources. Can you just be able to remember these 6 categories of RCs, and would you be able to put the RC in one of these 6 categories? Yes. Okay. And now do you also remember the 2 kinds of questions, direct and indirect, and the subcategories within them? If you read the questions, can you put the questions under the... Okay. Now, the third thing which you need to remember to identify whether to attempt the RC or not. Vignesh, yes, in exam you will get the mixture. So one question, say, could be from natural sciences, other would be from social science, third could be, say, from editorials, fourth could be a current happening. So it's a mix you get in the paper. One RC cannot fall under multiple categories. One RC will fall under only one category, but you may get 3 to 4 categories in one exam. So if there are 6 RC questions, 6 RC passages, they may come from 3 to 4 categories. Okay. Now, do you understand that whenever we write anything, whenever we write anything, when you become the author, you write the essay. You have written a lot of essays in your school. You always start from a generic thing to us and then move to a specific subject, or you move from a specific subject to a generic conclusion. That's how we usually write. Am I right? If we are given a topic to write, how do we write usually? We either start from a generic thing and conclude specifically, or we start from a specific thing and give a general conclusion. right? These are the only two ways to write any article. Which are you all on the same page? Are you able to understand that? Is there any other way to write article or a passage? There are only two ways, right? Specific to generic, generic to specific. How will I identify whether the passage is generic to specific? I will read the first paragraph. I will read the last paragraph. Will that be enough for me to decide whether it is generic to specific or specific to generic? Can I? Can I judge it just by reading the first paragraph and the last paragraph of the passage? Brijesh, that is what you need to develop with practice. This sometimes change to. Okay, so now I have three parameters. First is that specific to generic, generic to specific. Second is type of the RC. Third is type of the questions. What you will do? What you will do while taking the exam, when you are attempting any mock test or when you are attempting any RC sectional test or any RC, is you will read the first paragraph of the passage, you will read half of the second paragraph, stop, move to the last paragraph, read the last paragraph, then have a quick look at the questions. That's it. This is sufficient information for you to decide whether to attempt the RC or not. You will, whatever you have read in the first paragraph, last paragraph, and in the questions, you will link it back to the type of the RC you are comfortable with, to the type of the questions you are comfortable with, and then you will take the call to attempt the RC or not to attempt the RC. Is it clear? You will not read entire passage ever to decide whether to attempt the RC or not. Is it clear? And based on the length of the first paragraph and the last paragraph and 3 to 4 questions, you will hardly take 2 minutes to decide whether to attempt the RC or not. Is it clear? There is one thing left. How to put in green zone, yellow zone, red zone. I am telling you that. But before that, is this much clear? Will you try to apply this while selecting the RCs so that you can select the RC correctly within 1 to 2 minutes and you don't end up wasting 15-20 minutes on any RC? If in 1 minute it falls under your doable zone, you will attempt the RC. If it does not, you will not attempt the RC. Make sense? Okay. Now one more thing you will do while attempting the RCs. In the next few tests which you are going to take for RCs, what you are going to do is, we discussed about type of questions for the RCs. We discussed three types under direct and 8 types under and 5 types under indirect. So total of 8 types. Am I right? There are 8 types of questions, 3 under direct, 5 under indirect. What you will do is, you will make a graph. Whenever you are analyzing any RC test or you are analyzing a performance of RCs in the mock test, what you will do is, you will make a graph. On y-axis, you will put accuracy, high and low. On x-axis, you will put time taken, low and high. Questions, the type of questions, out of the 8 types, you will put those types in the green zone which come from high accuracy and low time. Is it clear? High accuracy and low time is your green zone of the question type. High accuracy and high time. First of all, you will attempt those questions from the doable RC which fall under the green zone. Then you will attempt those questions which fall under the yellow zone. Yellow zone, green zone, red zone is for which question to attempt first. This strategy of red zone, yellow zone, green zone is to know which question to attempt first. not which RC to attempt. You have already decided which RC to attempt. Now you are deciding out of the 3 to 4 questions given, which question to attempt first. There may be a case where the RC is doable for you. It has 4 questions, but you can attempt only 3. That is completely fine. Just because the RC falls under doable zone does not mean that you will do all 4 questions or all 5 questions. You can leave one question of the doable RC also if that question falls under red zone, because you cannot afford to get negative marking. You have to focus on accuracy also. Is it clear? Make sense? Does this make sense what I'm telling you? Any questions so far? I will tell you from where to practice also at the end of the session. But as of now, just let me know if you have any queries so far. Are you able to understand what I'm telling you? Are you able to follow it? We have already decided whether to attempt the RC or not by reading the first paragraph, last paragraph, and having a high-level look at the questions. Now, within those questions, how do I decide which question to attempt first and which question to keep for the last? While analyzing, I will make 4 quadrants using x-axis and y-axis. Y-axis will have accuracy, x-axis will have time. Questions, the question types, out of the 8 question types which fall under high accuracy and low time, they are my green zone. High accuracy and low time are my green zone. High accuracy and high time, they are my yellow zone. Low accuracy and low time are still my yellow zone. Low accuracy and high time, they are my red zone. Is it clear? 2 yellow zones, 1 green zone, 1 red zone. Is it clear? Red zone question is what you will never attempt in the exam. Red zone question you will never attempt in the doable RC also. So one question which I said that you can leave in the doable RC is that question which falls under red zone. Firstly, you will attempt the green zone questions, then you will attempt the yellow zone questions, and you will not attempt the red zone questions. Is it clear? Is the entire process to attempt RC for accuracy? The top end of y-axis is high, the low end is marked as low. Then draw x-axis. The rightmost corner of the x-axis is low time taken. The leftmost corner of your x-axis is high time taken. So your top right quadrant is of high accuracy and low time. That is your green zone. Is it clear? Is it clear now, Khushbu? Lavleesh, Sai, able to understand? Rahul, Rohit, able to understand? Vignesh? Great. So that's how you are going to attempt the RC, by properly selecting the RC and even knowing which question to attempt first in a doable RC, which question to attempt at the end, which question to leave, so that you can focus on ensuring high accuracy in the exam. Now remember, once you will start implementing this process, initially a lot of types of questions will fall under yellow zone. Don't worry. As you will practice more and you will continue to analyze in this way, slowly and gradually more and more types of questions will start falling under green zone. Out of 8 question types, at the end of August, only 2 types of questions should remain in your red zone, 3 to 4 in your green zone, and 2 to 3 in your yellow zone. That is what you need to achieve by the end of August once you start applying whatever we have discussed so far. Make sense? Now, I will take a couple of questions which some of you asked. Idea of the passage and tone of the passage, Rahul, these are 2 different things. Idea is about what is the context I am trying to explain to you through the passage, and tone is how am I speaking or how am I writing to explain the context. So idea refers to the context of the passage in terms of what does the person wants to communicate to you. Tone is how he speaks. So for example, if I have to convey that Rahul is a good student, I may say it in a different tone. Someone else who is, say, a very strict teacher with very high standards can say it in a different tone. Someone who is a very arrogant person can say it in a different tone. Someone who is very used to using sarcastic statements can say it in a different way. So four people can say the same statement in different tones. That is what refers to the tone of the passage. Idea is what we want to communicate. We all four may want to communicate the same thing, but is it clear, Rahul? Great. Now, coming to the sources which you can prepare from. First of all, past year papers are important thing. As I have always suggested, do get hold of the book called Face to Face with Cat. It has past year CAT papers till the time CAT went online. So you can get exact past year papers from it. Practice RC questions from there. Second, if you are the part of our courses, we have handpicked RCs from past year papers plus some analogous RCs which have been coming every year in the exam. We have tried to draw the analogy and we have come up with a lot of RC tests for you in the course. So whether you are in CAT course, MBA prep course or RC crash course with us, you will be getting a lot of RC tests to practice. Third source is probably you can go for Arun Sharma's verbal ability book. The only issue with that is, it does not have a lot of correct answers, but you can practice there and then you can come back and ask your doubts to us in the courses WhatsApp group. So these are the three sources which you are going to use. Plus, obviously, the mock test, the full length mock test which you will be taking this year. These full length mock tests could be of time, CL, IMS, or Career Anna. Any of these mocks will suffice for you to couple whatever you are preparing. Is it clear? In terms of sources of practice, some of you asked that question. Difference between idea and tone of the passage, how to attempt the RC, how to go about selecting the RC, whether, in terms of whether to attempt it or not within a couple of minutes. Is it clear to all of you? Any doubts so far? Anyone, any doubts? Any questions? Okay, last thing. Now, I discussed about the type of the RCs. I discussed about 6 types of RCs: natural science, social science, technical, reviews, narrations, current happenings. Deep Jyoti, can you just post your question once again? I guess I've missed it. So, where to read from? First of all, stop reading novels. This is not the time. With 125 days approximately left for the exam, you should not be reading novels. You should not be wasting your time in reading some fiction, non-fiction, etc. Essay and opinion section of aldaily.com website. This is a website. Go to it. Go to essay and opinion section. It's a vast website. You will get lost in it. So just go to essays and opinion section of the above website and only read one article daily, one article from aldaily.com, editorials of Hindu, plus RC videos which we have provided you in the course, plus RC tests from different sources which we discussed, plus RC questions probably from Arun Sharma's verbal ability book. All these things together would suffice. There is no need to go for novels. There is no need to go for vocabulary building. Even with average vocabulary or below average vocabulary, you can get to 80 to 90% accuracy in RCs. So don't waste your time reading Word Power Made Easy at this point of time. It's okay, whatever vocabulary you have developed so far, it's completely fine. You don't need to develop it further for CAT RCs or ZAT RCs. You need to prepare vocabulary here on only for exams like TISNET, SNAP, and MAT, where vocabulary-based direct questions come. But when it comes to CAT and ZAT, they will not ask you direct vocab-based questions, and for RCs in them, you don't need to have a strong vocabulary. Is it clear? Deep Jyoti, I guess I have just answered that what all to read. In Hindu, only read editorials and then couple it with one article of aldaily.com essay and opinion section. Is it clear? Anyone else has any doubt? Any doubt, anyone? Deep Jyoti, Vignesh, Sai, Rohit, anyone, any doubt? Deep Jyoti, is it clear? Also, for all of you who are the part of the CAT course or the complete MBA prep course with us, we will be having live sessions on RC for the course students for the next 8 weeks. In next 8 weeks, we will be having around 16 to 20 sessions for everyone who is preparing for CAT courses through with CAT courses of ours, complete MBA prep, and others who have enrolled for RC crash course. Over 8 weeks, we will have 20 sessions where before every session, I will send you a set of RCs to solve. You need to solve those RCs and come to the class. We will be discussing those RCs in a live session. Plus, I will also be talking about how to eliminate the two options when you are left with two options at the end, and then how to go about answering different types of questions. In those 20 sessions, we will discuss how to arrive at the source of the passage, how to arrive at the tone of the passage, how to answer getting into shoes of the author kind of questions, assumption based answers, inference based, conclusion based, basically all 8 kind of questions we will be discussing how to answer in those 20 sessions of the which we are going to start from coming Tuesday. This is the first session for that. It's an introductory session. We will be having 20 more sessions, and if you are the part of CAT course or MBA prep course, you can easily attend all those sessions of RC crash course as well. Yes, Khushbu, we will be doing that. Next week, we will be having LRDI and quant strategy sessions as well. Plus, Khushbu, I guess you are the part of the MBA prep course with us. So please attend the next 20 sessions of RCs, which we are going to do. That is going to help you, a lot. Lovely. Yes, inference-based questions will also be covered in those sessions. For all of you who are preparing from some other sources and are facing problems in RC, I am sharing with you the link for the RC crash course. So in case you want, you can enroll for the RC crash course, and it comes at a very low fee, so you don't need to bear a lot of financial burden as well. So I hope with this session you are able to understand how to apply the strategy when it comes to selection of RCs and selection of questions in RCs. Is the objective met? Were you able to develop some insights around RC selection and how to select the questions? Whatever I discussed, was it of some use? Did it provide you some insights? Yes or no? You can say no also if you want. Okay, so whatever we discussed, try to apply this going forward. Whenever you are solving RCs, try to remember these things so that you can improve your accuracy, you can improve your speed of RC selection, you can improve your accuracy by leaving the question which you should not be attempting in the RC. Is it clear? Great. We'll meet again specifically for RC. I will be dealing with the RC crash course. For B school selection, for MBA college selection, I will be taking a session next week, which will be open to all. Also, we will be taking open to all session of LRDI and quant in the coming week. For RCs, the future sessions are going to be closed ones, in which majorly, first of all, I'll start off with how to answer the 8 type of questions, and then I will move on to solving RCs and discussing them in the class. Yes, Rahul, Shubham would take the quant and LRDI session. Khushbu, you should attempt 2 to 3 RCs on a daily basis. Sai, testnet session will be today at 3:30 p.m. Okay, everyone? Thank you. Just drop your feedback in the comment part on YouTube so that others can get to know whether this session was useful or not. Thank you, everyone. See you again in the next open session. The next session which I am taking is of test and strategy today at 3:30. Next week, Shubham from the team would be taking sessions on quant and LRDI, and I will be taking the session on MBA colleges selection process. Vignesh, for testnet, there is a different link to join, but the channel is same. We will share the link to join the session on WhatsApp. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you. And do share your feedback in the comment section. And we will be updating a lot of free videos as well. So to ensure that you are subscribing to the channel so that you get notified whenever we update the next free video, you need to hit on the bell icon on the top right hand side. Thank you, everyone.